So here are 3 EB-1A profile building opportunities in cybersecurity, starting with the RSA Conference, which is coming up in the next few months. Now, RSA is one of the top conferences in the cybersecurity field, so it is extremely hard to get a speaking opportunity at the conference, but it is still a great profile building opportunity if you want to get involved in the long run, first maybe by volunteering, by attending, where you can meet some top cybersecurity professionals and use those connections as a way to then have opportunities down the road to showcase your expertise as you build it. And you can still try to find a way to attend a conference. You just don't have to be a speaker just yet. And if you want more profile building opportunities, you can look into my profile building opportunities database, which shows you over 150 profile building opportunities for those of you who are looking into EB-1A and O1. I currently cover fields like AI, software engineering, manufacturing, cybersecurity, data science, and a bunch of other fields that are listed in the database. And for $12 a month, you'll get access to my profile building opportunities database, my reviews of AAO decisions, which are EB-1A appeals, and go into USCIS's reasoning for initially denying EB-1A petition. So if you want to better understand how EB-1A petitions are adjudicated, you definitely want to look at AAO decisions. And outside of that, you will also get access to my guide to EB-1A profile building and also my private group for EB-1A and O1 profile builders. So that is what's included in the paid newsletter. But back to the video. On the other hand, if you're already a top cybersecurity professional, it is worth looking into whether your company is going to be presenting at RSA and whether you could potentially speak on their behalf at the conference. You can also reach out to see if there are speaking opportunities outside of your company and are available to attendees of the conference, and this will require just some outreach and contacting them to see if there are opportunities still available. So just looking at the website, it looks like just any normal conference. So you have some information about the conference itself, you have pricing, and then you also have some information on how to register for the conference. Now, when I'm looking at opportunities, I want to see if there are specific things that I, as a profile builder, would want to do at the conference to be able to then claim evidence that could potentially help me with meeting some of the EB-1A criteria. Just looking through the contents of the website, I think the most interesting thing so far that I've spotted, at least knowing the EB-1A criteria, is actually the awards opportunities. So it seems like RSA actually has awards that you can judge. So that's always a good sign for a conference. It's always good to have awards that you can judge because let's say you get involved in RSA, you speak at the conference or you attend the conference as a volunteer. That's something you can try to focus on for maybe next year's conference. See if you can build the connections required to then be able to show what you can offer as a potential judge of these awards. And this especially goes for if you're a top cybersecurity professional. If you're already a top professional who has been able to shape the field, has been able to contribute to the field, you can definitely talk about these parts of your profile as a way to, say, land judging opportunities for the RSA Conference awards. The second opportunity is CEN's AI Cybersecurity Summit 2025. So CENS is one of the top cybersecurity training institutes in the world with decades of history. So this is definitely an opportunity that you want to look into. Now, just looking at the potential opportunities available as part of this conference. So the most obvious one is going to be speaking, and this really goes for pretty much all the conferences that you look into as part of profile building. But outside of speaking, you also want to think about how speaking at a conference can help you with final merits. Final merits is something that is usually overlooked by a lot of profile builders. A lot of profile builders think that all you need to do is meet 3 criteria or more, and then you can get approved for EB-1A. In reality, it's a 2-step process. You have to first meet 3 criteria at a minimum, and then you have to look into final merits, which is when you have to demonstrate that you have been able to generate sustained national or international acclaim for your work and that your achievements have been recognized by top professionals in your field. And both of which have to then indicate that you have risen to the top of your field. That's what you need to do when it comes to final merits. Now, for something like SENS or SANS, the great thing about SANS and these kinds of opportunities is that they're tied to reputable organizations. So these are great ways, these conferences that are tied to these organizations, they're a great way to then meet some of these people who are in these organizations and then learn more about how you can get involved. And if you look at how this page is structured, you will see that a lot of these opportunities that are being showcased here are trying to get you more involved in the organization itself and not just in the conference. So you want to be exploring these opportunities within these conferences just by talking to some of the people who are already involved in these opportunities. So for example, the advisory board is what comes to mind. A lot of these people are already involved with SANS. So you definitely want to use this conference as a way to potentially meet some of these people, or you can even just reach out to some of these people before attending the conference itself, or even before you decide to attend the conference, just as a way to get involved in SANS. You can also look into other opportunities on the general SANS website. So they have a great Get Involved section where you can then look into, for example, teaching for SANS. Or you can, and this is just a great way to potentially improve the acclaim piece of your case, because it's not just about meeting the criteria. Just because an activity doesn't fall within the EB-1A criteria does not mean it cannot help your case. It can help with final merits, which is the acclaim piece of your case, getting recognition for your work by other top professionals in your field. So this is just one way to get involved. The other way appears to be the CISO network, which is an exclusive network for active and practicing CISOs and security leaders. So this is another great way, and this could actually potentially help you meet the membership criterion, or at least work towards it. And that's why you want to be involved in these top institutes and top organizations that have so many more opportunities outside of just conferences. The third opportunity is the Cybersecurity for Critical Assets Summit. And again, the ways to get involved here are not just speaking at the conference. There's always a get involved section if you look at some of these conference pages where you can potentially get involved with the organizations behind these conferences, but in this case, this is just a conference. So the most evident way to get involved is to apply to speak at the conference. So speaking is always a great way to improve the final merits of your case, especially if they're well-known, national, even international conferences, because that is directly how you can generate acclaim for the work you've done, by talking about your work to an international or national audience of top professionals. Outside of that, just looking at the website itself, what else comes to mind? So they also have a steering committee. So this could be another way to improve the final merits of your case, not just by joining this committee potentially after maybe speaking at the conference, but also in getting involved with other top professionals who may be a part of other organizations who may be able to refer you to opportunities through your participation in the steering committee. So committees are also another great way to look for other profile building opportunities just by making the connections that you can potentially make by being involved in a committee for top professionals. And one type of committee is the organizing committee for a top conference. So those are just 3 cybersecurity opportunities for EB-1A. These 3 opportunities are coming up, so definitely look into them. And remember that you don't have to speak at any of these conferences if you don't want to. There are other ways to get involved. Try to get involved in the organizations behind these conferences and see if there are other ways to explore other kinds of opportunities that can help you meet other criteria or just help strengthen the final merits of your case.